I'm delighted to introduce one of my students from the Shorenstein Center, Seth Flaxman, and his partner, Paul Schreiber. They're working on an application, again, that attacks a problem that many of us will be familiar with, not being able to either understand or not remembering or not being able to go through the motions of voting by mail, voting from home. And they have designed a system called TurboVote that's designed to make this as easy as ordering a movie from Netflix. So, gentlemen.
So I am Seth Flaxman, the Executive Director of Democracy Works, which is the nonprofit behind TurboVote. And I got started in the democracy business in high school when I shuttled friends to the polls in order to vote for the school budget. And this is Paul Schreiber, who built Vote for Change for the Obama campaign, which registered 500,000 voters and helped 1 million people find their polling places. And he was also an engineer on Mac OS X for 8 years. And this represents the population of the United States, 305 million people. Of these, 225 million are eligible to vote, but only 146 million have actually figured out how to register, and only 130 million voted in 2008. And this is a problem. Only half of us are voting in most presidential elections, only 40% are voting in most midterm elections, and only 10% are voting in most primary and local elections. And on the global scale, the US ranks 138th in voting turnout, behind every major democracy. And it's a problem because government cannot be for all of the people when it's just by some of the people, like these fun Medicare recipients and these happy homeowners. And so, why do we have this problem? Because voting doesn't fit the way we live. We vote on a Tuesday because in the 18th century, Sunday was church day and Monday was market day. And nowadays, we work far from where we live, we're constantly on the move, and polling places feel more like inconvenient public restrooms than community gathering spots. The internet. So how come the internet hasn't made voting awesome? We can find our friends from college, get shoes delivered the very next day, download any song we want, get information, create social change. So we built TurboVote to make voting awesome. So, Paul, what is TurboVote?
Thanks, Seth. TurboVote is a service that makes voting by mail as easy as Netflix. So how does TurboVote work? Well, first, you go to our website and you'll fill out a couple of forms. Once we know who you are and where you are, we can figure out your entire election calendar. Then, before every election, we'll send you a pre-filled vote-by-mail application and a pre-addressed, pre-stamped envelope. You just sign it and drop it in the mail. Your local election official will send you the ballot, and we'll send you text and email reminders to make sure you never miss elections. Last fall, we built a service that could be used by 215 million people, which is way larger than the reach of AT&T's 4G network. So you're probably wondering, can I vote by mail now? And the good news is, in 30 states and the District of Columbia, anyone can vote by mail at any time for any reason or no reason. This is called no excuse absentee. But in the other 20 states, the rules range from the straightforward and simple, like in Massachusetts, to the extremely complicated. And regardless of where you live today, voting by mail is a bureaucratic mess. You need to get information from state, county, and town governments. TurboVote makes this easy. Last fall, we piloted the service at Boston University. Afterwards, we surveyed the students, and 30% of them said they probably wouldn't have voted had it not been for TurboVote. While we hope that TurboVote can increase turnout in major elections like presidential, where we think we can really make an impact is in local elections. Because when you go to vote in a local election, you often feel like this guy. And we're talking about elections for judge, and elections for school board, and elections for mosquito abatement district commissioner, which is an actual office in Florida. On the one hand, with TurboVote, we have a service that makes voting by mail simple. But we feel that TurboVote is part of a movement to renew American democracy. one that will put the levers of democracy in people's hands like never before.